Okay, Goosebumps 2, sometimes subtitled Haunted Halloween, because it's not on the Blu-ray, I'm just gonna call it Goosebumps 2. Where do I start with this one? I have a bunch of problems. So, after the first one came out and was a box office success, well, moderate success, they greenlit a sequel. And they announced that the main cast was coming back, the director was coming back, and then all of a sudden, so they announced that the director was coming back, they announced that the main cast members from the first one were coming back, and they announced that it was going to be about Horrorland. Yes, because I love the Horrorland, Horrorland, da-da-da-da-da. So, yes, I was excited for that. And then, so all the pieces were together, and then they started to fall. The director of the first film, Rob Letterman, had to drop out to direct another film. I don't remember what it was, but he had to direct another film, so he wasn't coming back. And then we heard nothing about the sequel. He was replaced by, I should put it up, Ari Sandel. And we heard nothing about it until a trailer dropped just a few months before the movie was set to come out. And I watched the trailer. And no one from the first film was in the trailer. Instead, you had the kid from It, the fat kid from It, the blonde chick from Jumanji, and some African-American boy running around with Slappy. And I thought it was strange that they brought Slappy back, even though he was popular in the first one, but we didn't need him as the antagonist for the second film, but okay. No Jack Black. Forget about the kids from the first one, but there's no Jack Black in the trailer. Until there was TV spots, and you got one shot of him standing there. Like, okay, he is coming back. Here's where the problem lies. They originally set for the same director and the cast to come back. The director had to drop out because he was directing another movie. Then all of a sudden, all the other actors got busy doing other things. Now, Dylan Minnette has been in a bunch of other things. The other two I haven't really seen them in, and Jack Black had to do that House with the Clock in the Walls movie. So I get that. So, without their director and without their main cast, they decided, screw it, let's just do the first one again, only a little bit different. That's basically what it is. It's a retread of the first film with a few different things thrown in. One, it takes place in New York, which is where Zach was from the first film, only they're in some, I'm assuming fictional, because I never heard of Winding Cliff, New York before. If it's a real place, let me know. But I never heard of it, so I assume it's fictional. But it could be real. And it features Sarah and her little brother. Was it a little brother? Sonny, and his best friend Sam. And Sonny and Sam are the junk boys, and they go around. They offer their services to clean up junk and to clean up this old house. And apparently it was R.L. Stein's old house, as we find out, because there's a book, a manuscript, a Goosebumps manuscript called Haunted Halloween. And they open it, and a Slappy puppet appears. And like I said, I don't think they needed to use Slappy as the villain in this. Again, he was popular in the first one, and they just decided to retread everything, obviously. But I thought it'd be a good progression, okay? Before they showed this trailer, before they dropped it, the first film had Slappy as the villain. They hinted at the Invisible Boy, but then they were saying that Horrorland was going to come in. So maybe the Invisible Boy thing was just a, thing. So the horrors of Horrorland could be the villains of the second one. Then bring in the Haunted Mask as the villain for the third one. And round it up that way. And I'm going to correct you right now. The Haunted Mask, I've heard other people's reviews. The Haunted Mask is not in this film. I don't know what the hell mask that is. That's not the Haunted Mask. It reminds me more of the old man mask from Haunted Mask 2, but that is not the Haunted Mask. I don't care what you say, that is not the Haunted Mask. I grew up with that. Do I have that book? No. I grew up with that story, and the way the masks look and everything, that is not the Haunted Mask. It has hair. The Haunted Mask does not have hair, so it's not the Haunted Mask. It's bald, like myself. So, yes. And so you have some comedic actors in this. You have Wendy McClendon Covey, who you might know from the you're sitting there yelling at me. They're in the 80s, and the family, I can't think of it. That sitcom where they're in the 80s, I don't remember the name. But she's in that show. And you have Jeong, who was in the Hangover movies, and he's on The Masked Singer, and he's Dr. Ken, he had his own show. Yeah, so I tipped my tongue, that show that she was on. And he's okay in this. He's Ken Jeong, popping in to do some comedy that sometimes hits and sometimes doesn't. What never hits, I'm sad to say, is Chris Parnell. I'm sorry, I've never found this guy funny. There's a sketch from Saturday Night Live that he and Jimmy Fallon used to do where there's these two guys that just tell stupid jokes back and forth with each other, like, ew, and just laugh. No. I've never found him funny, and he's not funny to me in this. Luckily, his face is covered by the not haunted mask for most of the film, and his name is Walter. Which is, there's a dummy named Slappy controlling a guy named Walter. Walter's usually the dummy, Jeff Dunham, And of course, they bring back the Abominable Snowman and the Wolf, although they're not prominent. And instead of gnomes, we get gummy bears. So it's a rehash. You get a bunch of gummy bears instead of gnomes. You get all this other stuff going on. There's Halloween, because it's Haunted Halloween, which apparently was one of Stein's first books that he wrote that I guess never got published. And a bunch of stuff. The only, again, they suck them back in the book, but they suck the gummy bears into the book. The gummy bears didn't come from the book. And Slappy is using his wake-up spell on all these creatures. The wake-up spell only works on Slappy. You didn't read the book? That's all it does. It wakes him up. You say it to wake him up. You say it backwards to put him back to sleep. Read the book. Alright? And he's just using this same spell to wake up everyone else. I know it's an easy way to, just have him say his thing instead of, why not just have him go and make it and not have to say his thing? Because every time he says it, pronouncing it wrong, by the way, the last word is not Carano, it's Carano. Read the book. Watch the TV show. For God's sake. It's Carano, not Carano. God. It irks me every time he says that. I keep going, it's Carano. And they make Slappy a baby, basically, because he wants a family. He wants, he calls Sarah his sister, and he calls Sonny his brother, and then he kidnaps the mom, and I had a papa that was mean to me, so now I'll try with the mom, which is R.L. Stine. And speaking of R.L. Stine, his role is so small in this, all they have him do, so once they figure out what's going on, they call the number that they found for a Shivers, which, and they call the phone. He's about to hang up before they mentioned about a book and everything. So he ends up, Jack Black's scenes in here are scenes where he's making his way to it. And even when he gets there, he doesn't have anything to do with the main plot until the end, where he talks to Sarah and gives her inspiration to write her college application story thing. That's it. And we get a funny little moment where he shows up. One thing I didn't mention is in the first one, he gets angry at the mention of Stephen King because he he thinks that Stephen King stories are mediocre and his were better, and he sold more, stuff like that. So here he shows up and he's looking around at all the chaos. He's like, oh no, Haunted Halloween, and he looks and you see a red balloon floating over a sewer grate, and he goes, aha! I knew I wrote it first. That made me laugh. Also, Jeremy Ray Taylor plays Sonny, and he was in It movie, and yes, things. Also, and I hate to say this because there's 2 movies in 2018 that had this subplot, but there's a subplot in which Sarah decides to sneak out and go meet her boyfriend at this dance at school. When she gets there, her boyfriend is kissing another girl. Oh my God, where have I heard that before? Where have I seen that before? Where have I seen that before? Oh, that's right. Halloween 2018 came out the same year, like 2 weeks apart from each other. They had the same subplot. This came out first, and then this one came out. Same subplot. And Dylan, is it Dylan? Drew Scheid, who played Oscar in 2018, has a cameo in that scene as the friend of the boyfriend. It had me rolling on the floor laughing at how, not only how cliche it is, but you have the same actor? My God, you're not original. It's like maybe they hired this actor to be an extra. And like, oh, hey, I have this scene. There's this scene in Halloween 2018 that there's, and, oh, that's good. We should put it in here. It's the only thing I can think of because it's absolutely stupid that the same scene from 2 different movies he's in 2 different movies, and the same actor is involved in both scenes. Basically. Oh my God, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. And the climax is, they go after Slappy at this Nikola Tesla tower, where they overcome, they reach through Walter, and they overcome Slappy and defeat him, and yeah, but there's a hook for a sequel in this where Stein goes back home or something, and Slappy is there and traps him in a book. So not only did they unnecessarily have Slappy in this movie, but they're setting up a sequel, which you probably won't get, with Slappy as the villain again in a 3rd film. And the only thing I could think to come of this is you get the original 3 kids back, and they're trying to track down R.L. Stine, and the last place that he was seen was in Wycliffe, New York, and they combine with these kids and save R.L. Stine. And you complete the trilogy that way. That's all I can think of. Although my idea was better to have the because I had thought, so you have the Horrorland be the second one, and then you have the Haunted Mask, right? Be the villain in the 3rd one, where he controls a river of monster blood, right? And he's like the monster, bring the monster blood in, bring the Haunted Mask, have him control the monster from How to Kill a Monster, bring in new stuff, the monster from How to Kill a Monster, you could have that creature from It Came From Beneath the Sink, right? You can have the creeps. Use them as henchmen. The creeps from Calling All Creeps. I'm just coming up with stuff, that you could use. Anything in here I can use. No. But come on. I'm more creative than just rehashing. If you're going to rehash, add different monsters, but you didn't. You had more of the same monsters than generic Halloween stuff like a witch and a ghost. By the way, one thing I should point out is that when Sarah, Sonny, and Sam are sneaking into the Tesla tower, they have to pretend to be Halloween ghouls. Sarah is a witch, Sonny is a pumpkin, and Sam is a skeleton. Witch, pumpkin, skeleton. All you need is the song, Happy, Happy Halloween, 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 Happy, Happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. I can't believe I didn't catch that the first time I watched this. I'm like, wait a minute. She's a witch. He's a pumpkin. What's the skeleton? Oh my god. Yeah, it's the Silver Shamrock mask. If you can't tell, this movie was a disappointment to me. It's not bad though. It's fun to watch. I watched it with my son and we had a good time with it. It's not terrible. It's not bad, but I'm gonna say it's a middle of the road movie for me because it could have been better. I strongly dislike movies that when they have sequels, they don't have anyone from the first film, and we have R.L. Stine, Jack Black in a cameo, and I think R.L. Stine has a bit of a cameo in this too, but it's just not the same. It's not the same, and I didn't even go to the theater to see this because the trailer had me so down. I'm like, it looks like it has nothing to do with the first one, and it doesn't. It's a rehash of the first one with different characters. It's just a middle of the road movie for me. I don't hate it by any means, but some of the decisions they made, why not just wait? We got to get this out. It's been 3 years, so we got to get this out. Well, if you actually tried to get this done sooner, or you lost your director, you lost your actors, so we got to get this out now then because people are waiting for it. You could take your time. Some movies take 5 years to get done. Some take longer. Who knows? And who's to say that you need to have stuff happen one after another? Have it take place 5 years after the events. People, they're still, they've almost gotten over with it, and then something else happens. You don't need to have it happen shortly afterwards. You know what I mean? You can have it jump. And this is 3 years after the first one, but it's somewhere else, which kind of made me scratch my head. I'm like, I understand that R.L. Stine has moved to different towns in the past, but I don't know. It just didn't work for me, I guess. But yeah, like I said, it's the middle of the road for me. But what are your thoughts on Goosebumps 2? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. Obviously, I think this one's better. But I'll see you in the next one.